Hey guys, Eric here coming to you from South Florida, and I got Mallory with me today. How are you, Mal?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. So we are hosting this live training for you. You might be watching this weeks from now, months from now, but we're hosting this in January of 2016, and this is the beginning of a series of training videos that we're doing to kind of fill in the gaps of some things that you might not learn or completely understand by going through the Empower products or the the iPass, onboarding videos. There's some things, some gaps that they have. No system's perfect, no program's perfect. And one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of people that have joined our team, which is why this video is so important, is there's a lot of enthusiastic people. There's a lot of people that are excited to share their story, which is usually actually one of the biggest things that hold people back. But our team is excited to share their story, so that's a huge thing. But you also have to channel that into, this is an opportunity to get customers, to make sales, and to make money. And sometimes people are all enthusiastic and they share their story and they post some videos and they post a few links here and there, and they're not getting the results, and they don't know how to look at how well they're doing, how to set the right expectations, and how to actually make progress, and to understand that they are making progress. Because if you don't have the right expectations and you don't know how to make progress or how to evaluate that you're making progress, then a lot of time you'll feel off track and you can't see where you're trying to get to because you don't know how to gauge that. So I'm going to run through some of the concepts. I will stop periodically along the way. And Mallory is going to do two things. She's obviously has a background in sales as well. So she has some great stuff that she can share that can help teach you guys some basic concepts if you're not familiar with sales. And I know this is online sales and this is a new opportunity for many of you, but online sales, offline sales, the understanding the whole concept of a funnel and customers and average order and all that stuff, it's all the same. So Mallory will have some stuff to jump in and share as well, but she's also kind of a representation of all of you that are either watching us live and can't speak up and actually contribute, or if you're watching this in the future and I say stuff and maybe I just don't explain it in a way that's perfect and everyone can understand, and Mallory can either jump in and ask me to clarify, or she can give her kind of understanding of what I'm saying that might clarify it for some of you guys that might not understand the way I say it the first time. So that's how we're gonna kind of roll with it today. So I'm gonna start off by talking about finding your stats. So we're going to go real basic here to start. And to do that, I am going to I'm going to jump on into my account here. So give me 1 second. But it's super powerful that you understand this concept. The whole concept of sales is because a lot of times we want to have our website look great and our blog look great and all this stuff, and then we want to reach out to people or post our link different places and all that stuff. But it's kind of backwards. Success in anything in life, it's very counterintuitive, because if you think about it, the one thing that you can't do is you can't make money if you don't have any customers. You can't make a lot of money if you only have 1 or 2 customers. So they might be the best customers ever, and they might love you, and they might be the perfect customer for you, but there's only so much money someone can spend as a customer with you, right? They can buy all the products, they can spend the $200 a month to have the products, and then you have a limit of how big they build their team, and that could be a lot, but it's not going to get you ultimately to where you want to go. So, all right, let me see here. I think I went too far for the explanation. Okay, so I'm going to, Mal, if you want to unmute yourself for a second, just so I can do the share screen, and then you can tell me if it's going. Can you see my Empower back office?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you guys want to log into your Empower back office, and then you want to click on the I icon, which is for iPass. And when you go over here, you go to the iPass dashboard. So again, that's log into Empower, click on the I for iPass, go to iPass. Then you want to click on Elite Tools. And then you want to click on Elite Stats. So that's Elite Tools and Elite Stats. So here's where you can find your stats. So it's default set to 1 week. So this is the 8th, which is last Friday. This is the 15th, which is today. I don't know why it always does this in kind of reverse order, but I like to do it like this and do it by number of hits. So I'll explain what this is, right? So mine might look a little different than yours for those of you guys who are brand new. Most of yours will say capture page 1 as on the far left. Mine says total shortcuts $7 join page. The reason it says that is because I use my own capture page. So the first page that each lead hits on or lands on within Empower Network on an Empower Network website page is always going to be the sales page for me. So my capture page and my bridge video are on my own hosted websites. And so the first page that someone comes to when they click through a link and join my email list, the first page they land on is the sales page. So that's why here you'll see that it says, hits. So this is the number of people that have landed on this page. Unique hits, 54. So that means 167 times my business success link or people that are following my business success Instagram page have signed up on my email list and gone over to the sales page with that tag. So it's 54 unique people. Those 54 people have clicked a total of 167 times. Now you'll see here, it says all the way down, I have no leads. Like, oh my gosh, Eric, you have no leads. No, I do have leads. These numbers are my leads, the 54, the 22, the 18. So Mal, I'm not trying to confuse people, but does that make sense at all what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's pretty clear that unique hits versus hits. Unique hits is people that are unique to the system have clicked through. And then the hits is just the total number of times they've hit through. So yeah, what you said made sense.
Okay, so if you're using a capture page for Empower, which we tell you to do when you're brand new, your hits will be the number of people that land on your capture page, and your leads will be how many people actually put in their name and email address. So it'll look a little different than mine, but it's basically the same concept. So people always go to my page there, but here's what I want to show you, right? So so they land on this page. The tag is when I have people on the different, so we use Instagram as our main strategy, as many of you know. And of course, you're welcome to use other things, but Instagram is the best strategy that we've found to not have to spend money on advertising, but also can get you those initial leads and initial sales. Now, to build the business big, it can be done on Instagram, and there's a few people in Empower that are really crushing it, but they're doing a few very specific things correctly. And if you do those, you might be able to duplicate it. But this is about building momentum. I can teach you how to scale up your business in a little bit, and it has to do with understanding specific concepts and paid advertising. And once you understand the concept at a basic level, you'll understand that once you build momentum, you get leads, you start getting sales, that you want to invest a little percentage of that money back into your business to take it to the next level. But we'll get to that at the end. So these people here on this first one are following my business success page on Instagram. So that means this week, 54 people have become leads of mine. So 54 people from this one page have come through and joined my email list by clicking the link in my Instagram page. So that's an example, right? So you can see my, I have a bunch of different accounts here and different pages and hits and all that stuff, right? And what you really want to pay attention to, and we'll talk about what numbers to look at in a second, but I just want to show you where to find this so that you could have an understanding of what this looks like, so that you can actually view it and be able to understand what it's about. Now, these are the products, right? So this is how many people that come from each tag have bought the product. So Klaatu Premium, Inner Circle, you got your top producer formula, the team building formula, and obviously Mass Influence. So Mass Influence is the black card. These two are the 6-figure. This is the Elite Club, and these two are the Beginner Club. So as you see, I don't get a sale from each account every week. So I even got 54 leads from this business success account and don't have a single sale from it this week. But I'll talk about how that all makes sense in a second. So we're starting here on this page to show you what it's all about. Now, Mal and I are going to go back and just teach you guys general sales tactics about a funnel, I'm going to tell you about the general averages that come to that come in with Empower Network. And then what I'm going to do is Mal and I are going to come back to my page here, and we're going to look at some of these numbers here, and I'm going to kind of ask Mal if there's things that stick out, if I was going to make improvements, or I was going to say what's going right, what's going wrong. And we're going to come back and look at these different accounts so that you guys can see how we can make adjustments. Because one of the biggest things that, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second. So let's see. All right, so one of the interesting things is, because I run some of the Instagram accounts for you guys, depending on what level you're at, that you guys always have the questions of, so if I'm running the accounts and you're just posting the pictures, is that all I need to do to guarantee results? And Mal will tell you that's not necessarily the case. There's certain little things, there's relationship building, and we're gonna get into a little bit of that today. But also, I do wanna mention one thing, and at the time of shooting this video, I made this other video yesterday, but again, depending on when you're watching this, could be any point in the future. If you go back here in our team's site, if you go into the file section and you click on the 7-step video series for success on our team, I actually created the first video yesterday. So I created videos 2 through 5, but I created the first video yesterday. I did an update to it because we've had a lot of new people. And, to be honest, I didn't want to have myself and Rob and a lot of the other leaders that are getting a decent amount of people in to have to continue to do the one-on-one training to get people with their Instagram set up. So I would highly recommend everyone go watch that video, whether you're brand new or been on the team for 6 months, because I dive into some of those things that people will be missing. And one of them I will mention here. So there was someone on our team that basically I've been following the general idea of our Instagram strategy, but they weren't doing it perfectly. So one of the things that they were doing is they were posting every day. They had their bio set up correctly. Most of their accounts had more followers than people they were following, and they were actually getting a decent amount of leads, but they weren't really converting into sales. And they'd even got way more leads than it usually takes to get a sale. And we'll talk about why that might happen in a second. Anyway, I checked out their stuff, and I looked at their accounts, and I said, well, the issue is that you're only posting picture quotes. And when you only post picture quotes, the problem with that is people can't tell if there's really a person behind the account, right? So if there's just a profile picture that just kind of has you in it, or if it's a picture of you, and then all the pictures are picture quotes, that's exciting. You'll get tons of people to follow you. You'll even get tons of leads. But the problem is you might not convert sales because the trust factor is not there, because you don't have the other 2 types of pictures. And the other 2 types of pictures are lifestyle pictures, which is you living your day-to-day life. And it doesn't have to be traveling the world. It just could be you walking the dog. It could be you at the park. It could be you at a sporting event. It could be you at the beach one day, whatever it is. Or it also could be you talking about your topic. So if your topic's health, it could be you doing a workout. If your topic's art, it could be you, doing your art. If you're making art or something like that, whatever it is. And then the third type of picture is an opportunity picture, which is either you show a commission picture, and if you don't have any results yet, remember you can take some of the ones in our group. So if you go to the file section again, they're commission pictures. You can take the pictures and you can take the descriptions underneath them and post them right on Instagram on your accounts, and you're leveraging my results. A lot of them are mine. Others are leaders in our team. And then the other thing you could do for opportunity pics is you can talk about your vision. So instead of saying, hey, I've got some result, when you really haven't, you want to be truthful. You could say, hey, I'm doing this business because I want to live based on my values, and this opportunity is giving me the opportunity to do so. If your values align with me and you want to create a life of freedom, click the link and check out the system I use. So that's the other type of opportunity pick, right? So I decided that I would take over doing this person's pictures for 3 days. 3 days. I just wanted to do an experiment. And I just did the 3 days. And guess what happened to their leads? I tripled how many leads they got. Do you think that's a coincidence? I don't. I tripled the amount of leads. Why? Because I was showing that they're a real person, and that I was also sharing the opportunity. So something as little as that can make a big difference. And we'll come back to that at the end. But I just wanted to mention that so that you understand that you play a big role. Because there's also one other challenge that I want to talk about before we talk about general sales, and Mal can speak to this, is, there's either one of two types of people in our business. People that, had a corporate job, and I'm counting corporate job as any 9-to-5 job, and decided to give it up to pursue this opportunity. Or there are people that still do that opportunity, which many of you still have jobs. And either way, if you're still wicked busy and you don't have a lot of time, you still feel like you should be doing more than you're doing. Or if you have a ton of time, you feel like you should be doing more than you're doing. And, I'll have Mal speak to this in a second, is that, it's not about how much time you spend doing the business. It's what are you focused on and what exactly are you doing? And is it results driven activities? And it's also being patient at the same time. So, it's a process, it's a business, you got to build relationships. So, my point being is that the software runs on its own. There's tweaks and there's certain things that you can do on a day-to-day basis, but you also have to give it time to grow the number of followers, to have a number of pictures up there, to have people see your opportunity multiple times. So, Mal, can you speak real quick just to the challenge of both of those cases? If you're super busy, finding that little time and then saying, well, if the Instagram's running, what am I supposed to be doing and focused on? And then if you have all kinds of time, not necessarily all kinds of time, but if you have more free time, same type concept. Like, I feel like I should be doing more, and you can do more if you want to, but it's making sure that you're focused on the right things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you said it's got to be results-driven activity, that's really the key, no matter how much time you have to do or if you have to put into this type of business. And I also think we talked about this when I kind of re-upped with Empower, about having the entrepreneur mindset where you know that you're going to put work in now, and it's not like a 40-hour-a-week job where you do the work for the week and then you get paid the next Friday or whatever the case may be. You can put the same 40 hours into this type of business and you might not see the payout until weeks or months down the road. And I think that's the big thing to keep in mind with doing something like this, is it's more of a business that you're running and you're building the ground floor. It's like a tree, which Rhonda Swan talks a lot about, where you're building the roots to your business now. You might not see the tree bloom for a couple months, but the work that you're putting in now is going to affect how well the tree grows.
Right. So that's awesome. And it's basically that you're earning the money now. You know what I'm saying? Like, the payoff comes later, but you're earning it now. It's not one day you get 3 black sales and it's like, today I did a good job. No, you've been doing that for a long time, and that's where the results came in. So you can put 40 hours a week into this if you want to. It is totally not required. I know some of you guys only have a half hour, an hour a day. It's just if you want to make more blog posts, you want to, there's certain things that you can do. Obviously, like any business, you can put more time in, but no matter how much time you put in on a day-to-day basis, you still need that time, as in time to pass, days and weeks and months, for other people who are observing you to follow you and pay attention to what you're doing. So I just want to throw all that stuff up front, and now we're going to talk specifically about sales in general, and then apply it back to Empower Network. So we're going to do that. Okay. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with sales, there's the whole concept of, it's called the funnel concept. Let me see if I could, this isn't really going to look too good, but so you guys have probably seen this in the onboarding videos with Empower, but one of the things that I notice is that if you're not familiar with sales, you kind of hear what Chris Jones is saying, you kind of hear what Dave Wood is saying, but it doesn't all sink in because it's the first time you heard it. Overall, you understand how it works, and that's why you signed up and bought some of the products, but you don't quite understand the whole concept. But the concept is the whole concept of the funnel, right? So the more you have in the funnel, the more you put into the funnel, the more can come out of the funnel, right? So the top of the funnel is leads. So when Mallory says what we want to focus on is results-driven activities, right? Results-driven activities. If you have a list of things that you're going to do in a day, you need to do the things first that are going to get you some sort of result, which is the most important thing, is getting leads. The most important thing is getting leads, because the more you have, the more people you have to interact with, the better chance you have of getting sales. And what is stuff that's not results-driven activities? Making your blog look nice. You know, I'm trying to think of some non-results driven stuff. Can you think of some non-necessarily results driven stuff? Everything helps, but it's not necessarily the stuff that's going to, you know, get you a result today.
Things like you said, like editing your Facebook page or making something look better. That's not necessarily results driven, because you're just doing something that needs to be done, but it's not going to get a lead if you have a certain picture up on your Facebook page versus another one that you had before. So,
right. Yeah, so it's that type of concept, and you can work on that stuff, but you want to do that stuff last, right? When we talk about if you have more time, right, those are the things you could do. You make your Facebook page look better, you can make your blog look better, you can, you know, try different tactics, but that's not the required stuff to get it going. It's all about getting leads, and that kind of starts the funnel. The more leads you have, the more sales you're going to get. So what we're talking about with results-driven activity versus general activity, and I see this all the time, and my wife, Meg, who many of you know now from being in the group, she doesn't understand why I get so aggravated with this, but it's just because, you know, I have the experience of running a sales office, we're running a business here, and I just have so much empathy for people that run businesses. And, you know, you walk into a store or something like that, and, you know, I know as customers, we don't like being bombarded with people asking you questions like, do you want to buy something, whatever. I get that. But I remember going to Eastern Mountain Sports Club, store, because I needed to get a new pair of running shoes. I didn't end up getting one that day, but I needed a new pair of running shoes. And there's not a soul in the store. This is a huge store, but there's like 8 people working there, and they're all stacking shelves and making things look pretty, and, you know, making sure everything's like arranged the right way, and making sure there's no empty shelves, so everything is full of shoes. There's no shelves that look weird or strange or don't have a full box of shoes. And what's interesting is I walked through the whole store, and not a single person said, how are you, or do you need any help, or if you need any help, come find me. Not a single thing. And I actually left, and, you know, I said, wow, if I was the owner of this store, I would have went berserk if I just showed up in the store. And the reason is because why in the heck do you need all the shoes to look straight if there's no one in the store buying any shoes? Who cares? It doesn't matter if no one's in the store. Why does it matter if it looks pretty, right? You need customers in the store. And it's like, well, that's their job. They're supposed to stock the shelves and whatever. No, their job is to help people that are interested in getting something to buy stuff, to persuade them to buy stuff. And if in the process the store gets a little messy, no big deal. That's making the company money. Now, when the shift's over, they can straighten they can straighten things out, or on a break they can straighten things out. It's the same thing, you know, the results driven. I know Mal and I have talked a lot before about that whole concept of leads leading to sales, or if you're talking about a sports analogy, she has a really good analogy talking about how, you know, if you're facing someone in sports, if you have way more chances than they do, meaning as an analogy to sales, if you have way more leads than someone does, it doesn't matter if they can convert way better than you. You're still going to win. So Mal, do you want to share that story real quick?
Yeah. So if just relating to sales being a numbers game, which we're taught in sales in general for any company, no matter if it's a physical product or if it's a digital product like we are a part of. So the analogy that I have is just, if I'm going up against Michael Jordan shooting basketballs from the free throw line, and I have 100 chances of shooting the ball and he only has 10 chances, even if he makes all 10 baskets, I'm still going to outshoot him because I have more chances to take. So it doesn't really matter how good you are. You're going to beat somebody if you're getting more traffic to your business. So in relation to the online thing that we do, even if my blog looks like it was created by a 5-year-old because I just started it, if I'm getting people to the blog and it has a few posts on there, and I get some traffic there, I'm going to get more results than somebody who spends all their time making their blog look great.
Right, absolutely. And, obviously the objective is to do both, but the one that's most important is to get those leads. So I'll give you an example, right? So, or relating to Mallory's example. So she talked about 100 shots versus 10, right? So Michael Jordan in his career, I believe it was like an 80 something percent free throw shooter. So we'll give him a little extra. We'll say 90. So if he had 10 shots, he would make 9, right? Now, someone who's not very good at free throws, if you're good at shooting baskets, but you're not great at basketball, you don't play often, but you do know how to shoot free throws at 15-foot shot. It's not a hard shot. But let's be real conservative and say you make 1 out of 3, right? You make 1 out of 3. So if Mallory has 100 shots at the basket and she makes only 1 out of 3, she makes 33 baskets. Whereas Michael Jordan makes 90%, which is almost 3 times as many as Mal as a percentage, but he only has 10 shots. He ends up with 9 baskets, and Mallory ends up with 33. So the same thing happens here is the person who markets the best, who gets the most traffic, is going to end up with the most results. Now, if you're comparing equal traffic, it is the person with the nicer blog, the better relationship, all that stuff. But if you're choosing different numbers, it's always going to be the person, with the most traffic. So just want to kind of start with that example. So now we're going to relate it back to Empower Network. So there's 2 types of things that happen in terms of getting sales. So there's the first one is a direct sale. So a direct sale is someone who's been is either following you on Instagram, or if you're someone who's using, Facebook. I know there's not many people on our team using Facebook yet, but, if you're using Facebook, like paid ads or something like that, if the very first time they click through your ad, right when they become a lead, that they also see that sales video and join. So that's what a direct sale is. And then a follow-up sale is someone who does the same thing. They're following you on some social media, Facebook, Instagram. They join through your capture page, so they become a lead, but they do not decide to join right that first time that they see the sales video. Now they're on your email list, and Empower follows up with them, and you can also add your own emails. I know some of you guys are brand new, so you might not have your own follow-up emails yet, so don't worry about that. But you can add your own follow-up emails to build a relationship with those people so that you'll get more results over time. Now, what we've found, and we're focusing on direct sales in this video. In the next video that we're going to do at the beginning of next week, training video 2, is going to be about the second part of this business, which is all about relationship building. And the main thing we're going to focus on is about having a Facebook group. And I have been doing it for about a month and a half. Mallory just started one a couple days ago. And for me personally, it's been absolutely amazing to fill in the second part of the business, which is that relationship building. But we're focusing on part 1 today, which is all about traffic. So there's traffic, relationship building, and then working with your team and converting them to buy the product. So those are the 3 areas. So focusing on the traffic, what we've found is for the sales pages that Empower Network has, on average, 2% of people, so on average, 2% of people will buy the very first time they see that sales video. So 2%. So for every 100 leads that you get, 2 of those leads should turn into sales right away. Now, if you're doing good follow-up and you're building relationship, which again we'll talk about in the next video, that percentage will go up in terms of overall leads turning into sales. But we're just talking about direct today. So about 2% of leads will turn into sales, which means that about 1 out of every 50 leads should turn into a sale. So 1 out of every 50 leads should turn into a sale. Now, is it every 50th lead turns into a sale, like number 1 and number 51? No, not how it works at all, right? So it's not how it comes about at all. It's a lot different than that. Sometimes it's 1 and 101, or sometimes it's 1, 101, 102, and then 203. You know what I mean? So over time, it's about 2%. So if you're doing the right things, now there are some variables that can change that can make that different and make that less or make that more. And that's the role that you play. The video's there. It does what it does. What you can control is how you present yourself on your Instagram, how you post the pictures, you follow the rules that we talk about in video 1 in our video series. So check that out if you haven't watched that, and playing your role in it. And if you do that, you should be able to convert 2% of leads into sales right away. So now that you know that, that gives you a perfect opportunity to be like, well, wait a second, I've got 12 leads and I haven't made a sale yet. Of course you haven't made a sale yet. You know, that makes sense. As soon as you know that something makes sense, you know, then that's a good expectation. That's a good understanding. And then the other thing you want to pay attention to is, I actually learned this from my mentor, Brendon Burchard, who actually teaches a course called Experts Academy, which is how I learned how to be an author, speaker, seminar leader, online marketer. And one of the things he always says is that, you know, people always come to his events or, you know, learn that stuff and they say, oh, great, you teach he teaches the absolute best stuff on how to be an author, a speaker, and all that stuff. But the objections are always, well, Eric, I don't have a big email list. I don't have leads. I don't have 3 million followers on Facebook like you do. And Brendon always says, the stuff that you don't have is your checklist. That's what you have to go get. So if you're saying, I only have 12 leads, you shouldn't be saying, where's my sale? You should be saying, I don't have enough leads yet. Okay, how can I make changes so that I get up to those level of leads that I should be getting sales? So you need to be asking questions or reaching out to your sponsor or reaching out to me or making changes so that you get more leads. And there's other ways you can get more leads just besides changing tactics. And we'll talk about that at the very end of the video, depending on, you know, what level you're at, you know, in our company. So, Mal, do you have anything to add in or share based on that concept that I just went over about 2%, 50-to-1 rule, but it's not just every 50 exactly that join, and that there are some variables that play into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you mentioned about setting the right expectation for yourself, and also just being consistent with your action, because if you get 50 leads, say, and you haven't made a sale yet, don't stop what you're doing and think, oh, what do I need to do now? I don't feel like I'm doing the right things. I got 50 leads, but I still don't have a sale. If you keep doing what you're doing, those, you know, the 2 out of 100 that you could possibly get might not come until you have 100 leads. So it's important to just remember to be consistent with your actions and the expectation. You know, have the right expectation, but don't get bogged down if you don't get what you expect right away. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Right. You know, and the time that you want to look at, you know, how to make changes at a bigger level is obviously if you're not getting leads. If you're not getting a decent amount of leads, then you either need to position yourself better, have more accounts, do a different strategy, and we'll talk about all that. But, you know, Mal brings up a good point. You know, I had, you know, I've the first few days of the month, right? I had a sale on the 2nd, I had a sale on the 3rd, and I had a sale on the 4th. And then I didn't have a sale till the 10th. And then I had a sale on the 10th, a sale on the 11th, and a sale on the 12th, right? So it's not like nothing happened between the 5th and the 10th. It's like there was all still leads. I got a ton of leads in there, but no sales. But since I stayed consistent the whole time, and that brings up an interesting point that Mallory said is, the only time that I'm worried, or I'm not just worried, but I need to make a huge adjustment is if I'm not getting leads. If I'm getting leads, consistent leads, it doesn't bother me that I didn't get a sale today or yesterday or the day before that. I know it's going to come over time. Like I just gave you that example, right? The amount of traffic I'm driving, I should get a sale probably every 2 to 2.5 days, right? But I ended up getting 3 sales in the first 4 days. Then I got no sales in the next 5 days. And then I got 3 sales in the next 3 days after that. But the only way I would have made adjustments is if during that 5 days that I didn't get a sale, if I wasn't averaging the same amount of leads, then I would have made an adjustment. But I was still averaging the same amount of leads each day. So I wasn't worried about whether I made a sale or not, because that's not up to me. David Wood and his team do that. They're the ones that convert the direct sales. So I did my part, and I just got to wait for the numbers to kind of even themselves out. So let's give you guys a little example, and I'll have Mal help me with this. Is you know, I'm going to go back and screen share for a second, and I'm going to show you. Let's see here. Can you see my page again?
Yes.
All right. So let's see. So if we just look at this right here, right? So we got, if you're looking at my stats, you can see that I got the business success has 54 leads. The second one actually is not leads. The second one is that people are on my email list. They go back to the sales page without a tag, and they're seeing the sales page again. So 22 people either clicked through our hang on one of my follow-up emails came back. So that doesn't necessarily have a conversion number to it because it's kind of when people are ready, they'll join. So we're not going to quite worry about that one. But if we just look at these ones here, right? So we got the business page, the abundance page, the law of attraction, the entrepreneur page, and then these last two that say Success Principles 7.2 and Success Principles ES, those are actually the same one. They're separated based on something about when I changed the link, but they're actually the same one. So they should be one thing. So it's actually 18 unique hits. So is there anything that kind of sticks out to you, Mal, based on, so we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. We're basically looking at my top 5 accounts. Does anything really stick out to you based on looking at my top 5 accounts?
Just that you got a black card sale and a law of attraction page with 16 unique hits, and then you got some sales for the Kalatsu blog, and was at the elite level on the abundance page. Okay. So I think that jumped out to me right away, and based on that, I think I would just focus a lot on those pages, not necessarily more than you would the other pages because you're still getting a lot of unique hits, but I think I would spend a little bit more time on those just because you've gotten some sales from them already.
Cool. Yeah, that's totally true and great points. So I'm going to share a couple of things I noticed. One of the things I noticed is the business success page has 54 leads this week, right? So I want to know what's going on that page that's either not going on the other pages or what. Like, and you know, what have I been posting this week on that page that might lead to actually literally having more than double from that one than any other one. So I want to know what I'm doing right on that page just to continue to drive leads. I want to know, like Mallory said, which is a great point, I want to know what I was doing on my law of attraction page that, you know, we had, you know, we have other sales down here and all this stuff, but obviously Anne-Marie joined our team last week from shooting this video. And I actually, if I back this up like a day, it would have one sale for all of these levels because she went all in. But what I would want to know is what did I do on that page that was real relationship building? What was I posting? Was there something specific about attraction or something about something that I posted that would build so much trust that when someone joins, they'd be ready to make that commitment and really, you know, go all the way right away with our business. And obviously I have people doing that from other accounts, but we're just looking specifically at this you know, this date range. The number one thing that actually stuck out to me, Mallory partially mentioned, is what am I doing on the abundance page that I would have got 2 sales in 18 leads? Because we're talking about 50 leads per sale. So to get 2 sales, it should be about 100 leads. Now, again, all this stuff that we're discussing with you might be partially irrelevant because remember, it's over time, it's over leads. So it's not weird that I didn't get a sale from 54 business page leads. It's not crazy that I got 2 sales from 18 leads on this one abundance page because remember, I'm getting so many leads that 1 out of 50's got to show up somewhere, and that's just where it showed up. But I still want to look at what's working and see what's going on, right? So so that's what I kind of got out of the top 5. So that's the things I'm going to investigate and check out, right? So now if we go down further, Let's see. So, all those ones that we showed you before, at least 16 leads this week, right? At least 16 leads this week. So now if we go down a little bit further here, and we got travel E&M, so that's my travel page. These two go together, so that's actually 8 leads. This is people that are part of our fan page that have clicked through a link in my fan page and come over to check out the sales video. So 4 people have checked into that. This is another travel page that's focused on Megs, so that's only 4 leads. This is a Freedom page I have that has only 3 leads. So Mel, what do you notice about, so we got a travel page here, we got a second travel page, we got a Freedom page. The rest of this other stuff is kind of unique follow-up stuff. But if we look at these 3 accounts here, what do you notice in general, and also as in comparison to the other accounts I have above? Because I'm running the same amount of, I'm posting the same amount, I'm using the 3-2-1 rule, I'm I'm supposed to be having the software follow the same amount of people on every account, and so on and so forth. So what do you notice about these 3 accounts versus the top 5 that we talked about before?
Yeah, I mean, the lead generation is obviously a lot lower than the top 5, and they haven't yielded any sales this week, which makes sense because the lead count is really low. I would say, I mean, as far as the travel goes, and it's the Freedom page too, it looks like.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, I would look at the types of lifestyle pictures that have been posted there, and I know that this is a little bit deeper into what you actually do with the Instagram system, but changing up the hashtags of who the system follows for you, because maybe they're not the types of people that relate to what you're posting. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely perfect. Those are great answers. What I would have said was one thing you said, and then one other thing, which is I probably would look into changing the keywords, like you said. I would probably try to pick a different keyword to get my followers from, because for whatever reason, maybe it's just not my demographic. Maybe for my travel page, I'm following Travel Channel, and that's a lot of older people that are just interested in watching the Travel Channel rather than people that are interested in actually traveling and making money while traveling. So you're absolutely correct. The first thing I would do is probably change out my keyword for the next week and actually do that to see in comparison how that goes. The second thing I would do is I might consider, and I would only do this one at a time, but I would kind of test a new keyword. But the other thing I would test is maybe changing my bio. So maybe what I'm saying in my bio isn't connecting with that group either, right? So maybe my, for example, I think what my bio says right now is, for the travel page, I think it doesn't talk really about the opportunity. It talks about, let me just read it to you real quick. So this is a perfect example. And here's the thing about it, right? So if I'm running your accounts for me, you guys want to check your stats each week. And if something seems weird, just reach out to me. And based on what we're talking about in this video, you say, hey, Eric, why don't we change the keyword? I'll do that. Hey, my bio doesn't look right. Can you help me make a better one? We'll do that. So this is the stuff that you want to pay attention to and the role that you play in it, because I do get that question when people join. They say, well, if you're running the Instagram accounts for me and they just do what they do, how does everybody not get the same result? And this is some of the stuff we're talking about. So this is great. So my page actually says, Eric and Megan Sachetta, Travelpreneurs, Freedompreneurs, learn how we're able to travel the world and teach others to do the same. Click the link below. So based on the fact that I only got 8 leads, something in that bio actually sticks out pretty clear of why I might have only gotten 8 leads. Now, I did get a sale from the travel page last week, and they are a pretty cool person who I am talking to. But if we're trying just to increase leads, what from what I said in the bio, Mal, might stick out to you? Anything?
I think that mentioning, I mean, mentioning that you're a traveler yourself and the business that you do now gives you the freedom to do the traveling that you want to do. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're totally right. What I was going to say is that description doesn't actually mention that there's like an opportunity where someone either could be making money, or at least there's like an online, like I don't use the word online system or online business system. And, you know, if you can set it up so that you don't have to say that stuff and it still gets a lot of people to click, then you kind of go with it. But I think some people might be interpreting this bio as if we're traveling and we could be travel agents, we could be travel bloggers, which we are, but we're trying to show other people how to plan like vacations, how to actually, with them finding other ways to make money, but we're trying to teach them how to travel the world, where to go, versus giving them a vehicle that's allowing them to actually be able to travel the world. So my wording might be telling them that it's more of like a travel agent, travel guide, rather than, hey, I have a vehicle that's going to allow you to travel the world, which is something we're doing based on our success in the vehicle. Does that make sense, Mal?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it could be anything that you're doing when you're traveling. It doesn't, the specifics of what you're doing isn't really clear.
Right, absolutely. So that's the type of stuff we're talking about. These are all the variables, and I've been doing this consistently. I have not missed a day of posting pictures for 10 months. And you still have these challenges that come up, but that's part of the business. You embrace the challenges. Hey, we didn't get as many leads this week on travel. Let's change the bio and let's get more leads next week. No big deal. That's just how you roll. That's business, right? So, you know, that's ultimately what it's all about. And that's the exercise that I wanted to do with you guys. And it was a great perspective. I appreciate Mel answering on the spot. But the reason I wanted to ask her on the spot without any coaching beforehand is I want to understand what other people on our team might be thinking when we were doing this exercise together. So, yeah, I just wanted to do that. So, any last comments, Mal, based on, you know, doing that exercise, something that might have, you know, stuck out to you, or things you might have learned through that exercise that we just did of looking at my stats?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's important to understand the basics of what the stats mean and what to focus on when you look at your stats and you see that one of your Instagram accounts, for example, is getting way better results than another, and to actually dive into that. Because I think a lot of times when you're new, you think, oh, I'm just going to do it once and it'll be fine, and it'll just run. But I think the important thing to remember is it's a work in progress. And the first time you do something, it's not always going to be perfect. And it's always going to be a consistent, you know, not battle, but a consistent job that you have to do and working towards making it better. And I think it's important to have the expectations set up the right way initially, and then consistently working to improve things along the way.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. And excuse me. One of the things that we do talk about, though, is that you only have to set it up once, means setting up your bio so you understand how to set up a bio, you know, following the 3-2-1 rule. That's pretty simple. 3 picture quotes, 2 lifestyle pictures, and 1 opportunity pick out of every 6. Very simple stuff. And what I get by that is once you understand that, there's very little thought that goes into it. You do need to make adjustments, but how now that I have total understanding of this, how easy is it for me to just go in when we finish this and just change out my bio? That's going to take me 10 seconds, right? It's going to take me 10 seconds to do my bio. And what am I going to do? I'm going to leave it in there for a week, and I'm going to compare how many leads I got this week to how many leads I got last week. If it's more, I'll keep it. If it's the same, then maybe I change the keyword. So, you know, it's all about testing, but there's no restart. What I mean by restart is I still have my followers, right? So there are people that haven't clicked on my bio but still want to follow me because maybe they're not interested in what my bio says. But if I change my bio, the work that the software did still brought me those followers, and they're still my followers, and they still have the opportunity to click my bio whenever they choose to. So it wasn't like it wasn't like the activity that the software did and that you did was wasted that you did before. This is all about making improvements and making progress. So that's just some examples there. And like I said, you know, many of you, I'm running some or all of your Instagram accounts. It's your job though. Like I'm the coach, so it's your job to do what I just did every week. Pick a certain day of the week. Look at your last 7 days. Look at your accounts. You know, what are you getting for leads? You know, how's it working? And then if there's an issue or you want a change, come to me with either a question, having investigated, or telling me something you want to do. Hey, we're going to do a new keyword. Hey, we're going to do a new bio. Or, hey, I want to do a new bio. Can you help me make it? And I'd be more than happy to do so, because that's what being a coach is. I can't do the work for you, but I can, you know, definitely be the coach for you. One thing I will say for sure, though, and some of you guys that are brand new, this doesn't necessarily apply right away, because you do need to have the software run for a while. You need to get at least a couple thousand followers and be following less people than are following you for this to make sense. But if you are getting less than 2 leads per day per account, there's something going wrong. So either your bio is not getting people to click, the keyword is not the really good one, or for whatever reason the software is not following as many people as we want it to, which either means there's not enough people on that keyword or something different. So those are the only 3 reasons you wouldn't be getting that. So if you're someone who has over 2,000 followers on all your accounts, you're following less people that are following you, and you're not averaging 2 leads per account per day, which means if you have 5 accounts, if you're not getting at least 10 leads a day, and so on and so forth, then there is something going on that we need to work with. So we obviously can work with that. But I just want to give you that as an example so that you can use that as a benchmark, right? So if you're getting a half a lead a day on an account or only 1 lead a day on an account, that's something to look into. There is something that's not working that we need to make adjustments on. So that's the frame of reference for doing that. Okay, so you know, that's the main part of that. And I just want to go back over to my notebook here, and I think that exercise we just did is great because it also talks about obstacles, right? Those are the obstacles, and you want to embrace some of the obstacles. And I want to have Mallory touch on this because she has the experience in sales, and talking about the whole concept of you don't want to avoid obstacles, you want to embrace them, because the better you're doing, the more obstacles you're actually going to have. Because if you are afraid of having an obstacle, like having someone join and quit, or if you're afraid of not being able to teach someone how to do something, then you won't have anyone join. Whereas if you embrace obstacles and you're like, well, if I have 10 people join, a few of them might say, hey, it's not for me. A few of them might do a few things but not really follow the program. And a few of them will be like rock stars, and they're the people I help building with. If you have that expectation, you're not going to worry about that, and you're going to embrace that. So I know Mal has a great story from when she was in a direct sales, like an in-person sales, of kind of understanding that concept.
Yeah, so I think there's sometimes an illusion that the top salespeople in any organization don't get any no's, and they don't have any obstacles, and they just hear yes all the time, and they make sales day in, day out without any trouble. But in reality, they're probably getting more rejection. They're definitely getting more rejection and more obstacles thrown in their face, because sales is a numbers game. And the more people, so for the direct sales company that we used to do, we'd do presentations to sell a product. So I remember in my first week sitting down with my manager, and he said, okay, this is your goal. This is how many presentations you need to do. What do you think are some obstacles that you might get faced with? And I was like, okay. And we listed off 4 or 5 obstacles that I could face. One of them was my car would break down, or I'd get cancellations of appointments that I'd preset, things like that. So in doing that, my expectation was set that, yeah, obstacles are definitely a possibility, but if I expect them and I know how to respond to them initially, they're not going to hold me up as much as they would if they were totally unexpected. So I didn't hit my goal, sad to say, for that week, but I got a hell of a lot further than I would have if I didn't have those expectations set of, I'm going to get obstacles, I'm going to have people that don't purchase from me, I'm going to have cancellations, my car could potentially break down, which it didn't. But having those expectations in place, I did so much better because of that. And I think just an important thing to remember is the people that have the most success face the most challenges. And I think that's a common misconception and illusion that people have, is they think successful people never have any challenge.
Right. That's fantastic. And it's a great story so that people understand that, so that they, if you're joining and you've never been in sales before, you might not understand the whole funnel and the conversions and the fact that people will join you and it might not be a good fit for them, but it might be for other people. And you just got to understand that's all part of the numbers, and you got to go back to what you can control. I remember when I started in direct sales in the same company as Mallory, I remember one day in the summertime, my first summer, I was an assistant manager and I worked in the office a lot. So I only had certain days to sell. And for one of my particular days where I was supposed to go out and sell, I only scheduled one appointment. And I went to that appointment and I did the appointment and I had a great time. The customer was awesome, or their husband was there, and they cut a bunch of stuff. We went through the products and they were interested in the second biggest set that we offer on most presentations, and that we offered on most presentations. And, I said, okay, so, would you like to order that on pay for it in full or use the payment plan? So like assuming the sale, right? So they said they were interested in this set, the second biggest set. And I, asked them, okay, well, thanks for coming over. But, like I said, we need to think about it. And I said, I handled the objection. I know you got to think about it. All customers need to think about it. Here's how you should think about it. You should get it today, 15-day trial. If you hate it, send it back, get a full refund. And they still said no. And I left and I was so distraught. I was like, this is my only demo today and I didn't make any money. And if I made that sale, I would have, I forget what percentage I was at the time, but I probably would have made a couple $100 for, 45 minutes of work. And I called to the office, and the head assistant manager, Sammy, was on the phone. And no one would say this to me. The company is a very respectful company, and no one would have said this to me except we had a really great relationship. We were fellow assistant managers, and the culture we had in our office was just awesome. So I'm not saying that he said something bad or whatever, but I started just spewing all this stuff about, oh my God, they said they were going to buy the big set, and then they didn't, and blah, 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 blah. And he just cuts me off. He goes, Eric, shut up. And I'm like, what? He goes, shut up. And I'm like, what? And he goes, you had one presentation. If you had 5, you definitely would have sold $800. And would we be talking about this? And I was like, no. So it's the same thing. If I had 5 presentations and I would have sold an average of $160 on each one, which wasn't even a set, right? I would have made the same $800. Instead, I only had one presentation, which the person was interested in the $800 set. So I was either going to sell an $800 set or I was going to have 0. And that's what you want to avoid. You want to avoid the all or nothing. You don't want to be in a situation where you have so few people coming through your funnel that you need someone to upgrade. You know what I mean? Because that's not what it's about. It's about getting a huge group of people and playing to their expectations, because some people want to make a couple $100. That's great. They want to supplement what they're doing right now. They don't want to travel the world and do whatever. And we have a place for those people. Other people are like, I need somebody to go all in right now, or I'm going to freak out. And you talk to that person that joined your team, and they're not looking to do that, right? They're not interested in they don't care that they're not making $3,000 a sale potentially, right? You're going to blow them out of the water, because they're going to be like, they're going to say, they're not listening to me. I just want to make $500 to, pay my car payment, and I love what I do, right? So that's where having a funnel, so you're not too focused on being salesy and trying to oversell to one particular person that you get to join your team. So I think that's a very powerful concept. So you guys want to keep that very much in mind. Now, having said that, I do want to kind of wrap up this video by talking about 2 ways that you can make the process go faster and be easier. So there's 2 ways to do that, and they both involve spending money. But again, in business, you either pay in time, or you pay in money, or you pay in a combination of time and money. So you know, for most of us, we're starting with a free strategy. For most of you is the Instagram strategy. There is a little bit of cost to it, but you know, I handle a lot of that for you guys. But since it's a free strategy, you got to do the work. You got to post the pictures. You got to look at your stats. You got to make adjustments, which is not time consuming. It's just all about being consistent. Now, I do want the first example I want to give is the difference of what level you're at, right? So you guys know the beginner level is you own the Klaatu premium product, Klaatu Basic, Klaatu Premium. That's $97 a month. The elite level is another $100 a month. That's the Inner Circle product, which is the personal development audios. And then we got the top producer formula and team builder formula, and those two products make up the 6-figure level. And then we have the mass influence formula, which makes up the 7-figure level. So the first way you can speed up the process to how much money you can make is by being at the higher levels. Now, for our small team, a majority of our team members are all in. They're Black Card members. Why? Because they understand the concept I'm about to teach you. Now, if you're someone who's brand new and you either don't know what the 7-figure black level is, you know, ask me or ask your sponsor, no big deal. Or if you're someone who's at one of the lower levels and, you know, you just absolutely don't have money to go higher right now, that's okay. Again, this video is all about expectations. But if you're someone who's at the lower level because you're saying, I'm going to wait until I do this, but you have the money available or you could get it if you wanted to, I'm talking to you people, because the people that are in that situation, you want to upgrade as soon as you see this exercise because you're going to see the difference. And Mallory can help explain it as well. So I'm gonna share my screen here just to show you just some numbers, right? So we're here let's see, it's the 15th, and you know, we're not done with the day, so we'll call it through the 14th. Can you see my notepad?
Yes.
All right. So we're focusing on this part first. So I'm kind of going out of order, but focusing on this part first. So far this month in Empower, I've earned $2,569.80. That's how much money I've made. Now, I am obviously a 7-figure Black Card member because I couldn't be telling you guys to do that if I wasn't. That wouldn't make much sense, right? So I'm a 7-figure Black Card member, which means I'm able to earn a commission on all of the given products. Now, based on the results that I've gotten so far this month, let's say I did all the same stuff. I had all the same amount of Instagram accounts. I ran the same amount of traffic. I had the same amount of people into the funnel. Everything happened exactly the way it is, just I was only at one of the other levels. Here's where the difference in income would have been. Excuse me. So if I only owned the beginner level, so if I only had access to the Klaatu Basic and the Klaatu Premium, with all the effort, all the Instagram accounts and all I had, I would have only made $383.40 so far. If I was at Elite, I'd have made $766.80. If I was at the 6-figure level, I would have made $1,169.80. And at the 7-figure level, which I'm at, I have made $2,569.80. My point being is when myself, all right, so let's stop this for a second. So when myself or Mallory, if you're on Mallory's team, or Rob or any of the leaders, when they do a Skype call with you after you watch the onboarding videos and they say, hey, what's your goals? And then they say, hey, I'm just telling you the best place to be is the Black Card level, or they tell you maybe the 6-figure level, they're not trying to sell you anything. They're trying to tell you the truth. One, because they're at the Black Card level and that was a great choice for them. And two, they understand that exercise that I just showed you, which is that you literally don't do any more effort to make more money based on the same action by being at the higher levels. And the products, when you buy them, they're an education. You're going to make your money back by, you know, obviously earning an income, and the products are fantastic, but it also positions you to make money you wouldn't have access to by doing the exact same effort. So Mal, do you have a comment at all based on seeing that quick exercise?
Yeah, I think not only do you have access to a chance of more income by doing the same work that you would do at any other level, but you also have access to more products and Empower that will help you get there faster. So while you would still do the same amount of effort at the beginner level as you would at the Black Card level, you might not earn that 300 and whatever dollars it was as quickly as you would earn the $2,500, which even makes more sense to go all in because you have access to more tools within Empower.
Right, exactly. You know, I try to tell people that as well. I mean, that example was even a relatively nice example. It's actually usually even crazier than that because this month we have the live stream tickets. So part of that income is live stream tickets, which that won't be in next month. So those numbers will be even more skewed next month. And Mallory's right. Not only might I have not earned the 383 because you know, I'm not positioned, but I wouldn't have the education of what I've learned in the products. But also, if you're utilizing the bonuses that I offer, again, the bonuses start at the elite level. So you can run your own Instagram accounts. You can run as many as you want. You don't need me to allow you to do it. But if you want the software to do it, the bonuses start at the elite level and work their way up. And the higher you go up, the more accounts I run for you. So technically, if you're only utilizing me in terms of running the accounts for you, you're actually, those numbers would be even more skewed because not only would you have the less of an opportunity to make money, but you're also running less accounts, which means you wouldn't get the same results as you did with the Black Card. So again, this is all about expectations. This is not about saying you have to get your Black Card right now or you're off the team. That's not what it's about. It's you having a general understanding of, based on what your level you're at, based on how much you're willing to invest in your opportunity, you have to understand that the more you position yourself, the more action you take, meaning the more accounts you have, the more traffic you drive, and the better position you are, the more expectation you have that it should take less time to do so. Now, if you're at one of the lower levels and you're also running less Instagram accounts, that's going to multiply how long it's going to take you to get to that level. And that's totally fine as long as you have that expectation and you're okay with it taking that long. Me personally, that would drive me crazy and I wouldn't know what to do. But if that's where you want to start, because either one of two things, you're just looking to do this to make something on the side to supplement what you're already doing, that's totally fine. Love to have you. But if you're someone that's looking to change your life and take things to the next level, then you might need to think about changing your position. So speak with me or your sponsor. You can also click the link below and go back to your back office and can purchase some of those products as well. So again, this is not a sales pitch. This is just how it is. And you know, if you want to get yourself in the best position to do it, then you know, upgrading is really important. And the bonuses that we offered when you started are the same bonuses we offer now. If you're at the elite level, we'll run 2 accounts. At the 6-figure level, 4 accounts, and at the Black Card level, 5 accounts. Or potentially more, depending on what you want to do. But most people, that's about what they can usually handle at this point. So if you also watch that video 1 that I talked about making yesterday, I talk about more about Instagram, more about running accounts, more about even how to automate it even more if you want to do more of that. So that's kind of the deal. Okay, so one more exercise we're going to do and then wrap up for this video. And I'm going to share my screen one more time and show you. So we're paying attention to, I'm going to put this down here. So we're going to pay attention to this. So we're paying attention to this right here. So let's see. So basically what this is talking about is if you take, so I know some of you are brand new, you haven't made any sales, or maybe you've made a couple sales. This activity will be a little tough until you start making consistent sales. So you don't need 1 million sales, but you do need some sort of sales to be able to do this. But you want to figure out your customer lifetime value. And how you figure out your customer lifetime value is you take the number of customers you have, so the number of people that have joined your team, and you divide by divide by money spent. So money spent would be them purchasing the products or people on their team purchasing the products that you get part of the up, if they're not qualified at certain levels, you get part of that sale, so on and so forth. That's not what this video is specifically about. So let's say though I had, for example, let's say I was pretty new and I had 10 customers and let's see. So I actually have the equation backwards. So let's say I have 10 customers and those 10 customers had spent $3,000 total with me. That means that my average customer is $300. So my customer lifetime value is $300. So how much money you've earned by people on your team buying the products and or the people on their team buying the products in which you get partial commission on, divided by the number of customers equals your customer lifetime value. Why is this number really, really important? Because if you have a customer lifetime value that's pretty consistent, no matter what it is, you then can dive into the other way of making money with this opportunity, which is spending money on paid advertising. Now, I don't recommend doing any paid advertising unless you're a Black Card member. So your first objective is to go all in. So if you're going to use money, use it to upgrade to the products, get more Instagram accounts, and start to get those added leads and more sales just using that. As you start to make money, then we'll look into this strategy. And what the strategy is if you know my current customer lifetime value is 404, which isn't huge. There's people in Empower that have 500, 1,000, 1,500. They use a little different strategies than we do. But mine is 404, right? So now it's all a numbers game. So you say, well, Eric, I don't know if I can spend money on advertising because even though I'm a Black Card member, like, will it be worth it? Does it make sense? Well, the numbers tell you whether it's worth it or not, right? So if my customer lifetime value is 404, and we say that when it comes to direct sales, 1 out of 50 leads should become a sale right away, which is 2%. I'm going to ask Mal on this. I know I'm putting her on the spot, but let's see. So I'll keep the screen up. So Mal, if you had the opportunity, no matter where it was, whether it was Facebook ads or Instagram ads or solo ads, if you could get qualified leads for $2 a lead, and it takes 50 leads to make a direct sale, and your average lifetime customer is $404, do you think it would be worth it to invest in getting some $2 leads?
Yes. Because
do you know why? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, my understanding just mathematically, if I'm spending $2 on leads times, it would be times 100 leads, right? Or times 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 200. That's $100. So you're still up 304.
Right. So now it's a numbers game, right? So as long as your number that you're getting to produce a sale is way less than the amount that's going to come in on an average customer, then you're in the clear. So Mal, if you had an advertising budget, right? So if you had an advertising, maybe not an unlimited one, but you had money set aside to spend on advertising, how often, and you knew that these were your numbers, they worked consistently, your average customer was 404, how frequently would you want to get those $2 leads and every 50 leads produce the sale and it costs you $100? How often would you do that?
Every day.
Right, all day long, exactly. Yeah. Now, Mal, would you want $10 leads though?
No, because you'd lose money. Because 10 times 50 is 500, so you'd be down $96.
Right, exactly. So if you multiply the numbers and it's higher than your average customer lifetime value, then you're losing out. But once you can create a conversion like that, it's basically game over. It's just a matter of how much money do you have, how much money are you willing to not risk but put aside for advertising dollars. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen here. I know some of you guys have watched, let's see. I know some of you guys have probably watched some of, the Empower trainings. You've watched the iPass videos when you've joined. and you're kind of asking yourself, how do some of these people get these results, like a Sarita or a Brian Dixon or a Travis Holder or a Nathan Buchan? Nathan's a perfect example, right? He knows how much it costs to get a lead from him on Facebook. That's where he gets all his leads. He knows his average customer lifetime value. And then it's just a matter of how much does he want to make each month based on how much of his money is he willing to spend and set aside for his advertising. That's basically all it comes down to. And I know that makes it sound very simplistic, and it's like, so do people not matter? No, that's not what it's about. It's that in any given group of people, some people are going to check it out, sign up for the $7 trial, and realize it's not for them. Other people are going to buy some of the products, and some people are going to go all in. The fun is actually in working with the people that want to go to those different levels. It's not a matter of convincing everybody or getting everyone to stay or making your customer lifetime value an astronomical $20,000 per person. That's not going to happen. It's more about the fun part is once you know your conversions, it's working with those people and building those relationships and taking the people that want to take it to the next level to that next level. So, this final exercise that we covered, there's two ways to get yourself in better position to make money. One is to upgrade to the products. One, because you'll earn more commission when people buy them. And two, we have the bonus of running more Instagram accounts for you. And then the second way is to do paid advertising. And once you can figure out a customer lifetime value, which will take you a little while to do that, but once you do that, you will know whether your advertising is working and whether it's worth it or not, right? You'll know those numbers. So if you use my numbers, for example, 404, if you're getting $2 a lead and you have the money available, you do that all day long. You just keep it rolling. Or if you have a certain ad budget for the month, you keep it rolling with whatever you have, getting those $2 leads. The other reason I suggest not doing the paid advertising until you get your black card is if you haven't made any sales yet and you start doing paid advertising, unless you have a big ad budget, you don't know your customer lifetime value. And because you don't know that, you don't actually know whether the cost you're getting for leads is good or not. You say, well, Eric, you said $2 leads is good. Well, that depends on your customer lifetime value. If your customer lifetime value was $50 and you're spending $2 a lead and it's costing you 50 leads to make a sale, and that's $100 and you're only making 50, well, you're losing out. So that's why we start with Instagram. Your job is to do Instagram, get yourself positioned as quickly as possible, get yourself to the 6- and 7-figure level. We'll run more Instagram accounts. If those Instagram accounts are running properly and you're doing what we teach, the 3-to-1 rule consistently, there's a couple other parts to it, but you can check that out in the other video, like sending direct messages and things like that. If you're doing that stuff for a consistent period of time and you're not getting at least those initial sales, then there's something not working, and we obviously will be willing to spend the time to help you with that. But other than that, you should be getting those sales, and over time you can start to create that customer lifetime value. And once you think you have it established, whatever the number is, if you're also at the black card level, then you can start to look into paid advertising because you know your numbers. And once you know your numbers, then it's just a matter of having fun and working with the people you want to work with. So, Mel, anything that you want to add or kind of stuck out by doing the customer lifetime value and the paid advertising exercise?
Yeah, I think because I haven't used paid advertising yet, so I think I haven't figured out my customer lifetime value either. So it's something to think about for future when I do want to start using the paid advertising too, and making sure that I am making money when I use the paid advertising instead of just kind of winging it.
Right, absolutely. So, but I think it gives clarity, even to yourself and even to reinforcing it to myself. I've done paid advertising for my own side of my own business and also done it here as well. And just a reminder of that's the scary part about doing paid advertising. How's it going to work? Do I know it's going to work? Well, your first objective is with free advertising to get a decent group of sales, to know that customer lifetime value, get some money in your account, and then you can set aside an ad budget and say, hey, I have $500 a month to spend on ads, for example, right? $500 a month to spend on ads that I can afford to not get that money back for a month or two because I know it'll take time for it to pay off. But if you have $500 a month set aside and you can get $2 leads, well, it's 250 extra leads that you knew you wouldn't have. And if you know that your lifetime customer value is way more than 100, there's nothing to stress about because you know that's going to pay off next month, the month after, and so on and so forth. So that's the basics of the video today. We'll wrap up in just a minute, but I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some basic understanding of sales and how it fits in with Empower Network. Again, we're here to support you guys if you have questions or want help understanding your stats or making adjustments on the software that I might not notice, but you notice. Definitely reach out to me or the sponsor on your team. So that's the powerful stuff. So we've really dove into the 1/3 of the business, and early next week we're going to dive into, and it's probably already there if you're someone watching the replay, but from when we're shooting this, early next week we're going to shoot video 2 in this training, which is all about the second part of the business, which is building the relationship. And there's different places to do that, but we're going to focus on 2 specifically, 1 being your blog and 2 being a Facebook group, because that's another way to enhance your results is in the relationship building phase, so that people know, like, and trust you before they join. Because when they do that, they even trust you more, so that it's easier to get them to purchase the products, build trust, buy into your culture, and get duplication going on their team as well. So that's the main part of it. And again, I try to reiterate this because I know different people are in different situations. If you're someone that's just been holding back to see how it all works to upgrade to the higher levels, but you have the money or you can get the money, I highly recommend you click the link below, go over to your back office and purchase those other products for the bonuses, for the positioning, and for you getting sales so that you can start to figure out that customer lifetime value. If you're not in that situation or your goals aren't more than $500 a month, then I'm not talking to you in this particular video, in this particular instance, about upgrading, and no big deal, no harm, no foul. We'd love to have you on the team. So any last words, Mel, based on all that? I know you're a Black Card member, and you've been doing this pretty consistently, and your results are about to pop as well.
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, I learned something on this training, and I think it's really cool to be part of a team that's still fairly small in comparison to some of the bigger teams that we see on a regular basis with Empower, but we're going somewhere, and I'm excited about that.
Cool. I'm excited too. So thank you guys for watching this training. If you haven't seen video 1 of our 7 parts to success training, definitely go to the file section and watch that, because that will help you with some of the more Instagram specific strategies. But I hope this helped you give a general understanding of stats and also the 2 ways that you can invest in your business for both the education but also the positioning to make money, and then also how paid advertising can benefit you regardless of what avenue that you use. So have a great day, guys. Live the movie. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for your help, Mal, and we'll talk to you soon.